And welcome back to Applebee's Tailgate Talk on the Big 1080 WKC. Most times we have this man on their phone, but today, since they're champions, he just decided he'd just come out and join us. Clay Coleman, Vice President, Huntsville Havoc. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. I want to show off my new hat.
Yes, he does have the. You notice that, Tim? He's got the. He does have the.
You can't buy this one. This is the one.
Yeah, that's what I say, man. I was kind of
available in stores.
I was kind of holding out hope we might got one, but I guess
I'll get you one of these. This is the one that they. I was still in town and didn't go to Peoria. I wanted to go, but didn't go. But this was the hat that the SPHL provides you when you win the championship. Everybody gets the gear. We're not as big as like the national champions where they'll sell these on
for $30. Yeah, but they did hold you
goods or wherever it's next. So
it was good. They held you back one.
They held me one. Yeah, Billy Welker, our equipment manager, grabbed me one. Just thinking about it because I was like, I would love to go, even though that bus ride and the way that those guys were partying after, I don't know if I could have sustained that type of deal. But it was exciting. And we were at Humphreys doing a watch party, and there was a couple hundred people that were there watching the game, and it actually was a calming game more so than any of the other games that we played, because every other game we were behind. We were the first series we won with 10 minutes left to go. The second series with Macon, we had advanced it where we had 63 seconds where we scored and advanced it and kept it going. This one we had the big game at the VBC on that Friday night, and there were 6,000 people, and it was the most electric atmosphere.
That's what I heard.
I mean, it was, and you can say it and you talk about it, but it was like they were so loud that I really think it kind of spooked the guys a little bit. And it was so intimidating because it's like, if we let these people down, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, $5 tickets.
Right.
You're getting the best.
Oh, right. Yeah,
people going to be rowdy.
Yeah, but it was, they were, even Glenn, and usually the coaches will talk, and I'll say, hey, so when I get the crowd going or get it, do you hear us? And Glenn will say, sometimes. And you're like, oh, man, it's disheartening because you're thinking you're doing a good thing. But he's like, we're so into it. He said, but this one, it was like literally it would almost startle them. It was so loud, and their heart would kind of jump like, oh, whoa. And it wasn't even like when there was a breakaway situation. You can go to a Bama game or Auburn game, and all of a sudden someone breaks free and out of the backfield and the crowd goes nuts.
Yeah.
Or if a quarterback, they see a guy wide open and they throw the pass, the crowd goes nuts.
It's on, yeah.
But here it was like every time we touched the puck. And they're like, okay, this is pointless. You're cheering for nothing right now because we're not even in a situation where we can score or whatever.
Well, they're used to football. Come on, just bring in the football game.
But the guys played amazing. We lost that night.
Yeah.
But when I went down to the locker room and the attitude, I knew we were going to beat them at their place. I mean, it was just that feeling. And Glenn said the same thing when they skated out that Sunday night. It was like we've already felt the pressure. Now there's no pressure. And literally, if you watch the game or go back and watch the game, the championship game, we didn't let up.
Yeah.
I mean, we did not stop. And Keegan, the goalie, was unbelievable as far as the stuff that he was doing. But we did not let back at all. It was almost like they just quit.
I know there's something would be fun about winning at home and winning the championship, but there's just something special about going to somebody else's house, the last game of the whole deal, and you pull it out.
Well, the VBC loved it because we got to have a championship celebration in Peoria. We destroyed one of their locker rooms with champagne. There was zero cleanup, and we were ready. I mean, Friday night we'd already had it set up. We'd got a celebration location, and I don't know if I was ready for that party. So now we've kind of got to do it on our own terms. And like I said, these guys were some of the best kids, and I say kids because they're in their 20s, but I mean, it's just it worked out the best. And like for me, I kind of talked to my wife and my family, and I talked to Jacob Brown, the kid that we had as our captain. And it was one of those things where I don't know what everybody believes or whatever, but sometimes I believe there's a higher power or whatever people believe that is, that there was just the right time. And I told my wife, I was like, nobody had really thought about it. And I said, you know what happens when a hockey team wins? And she was like, I have no idea. I said, well, they'll go to the MVP, and he'll get his MVP trophy. And then the commissioner of the league hands the trophy to the captain. And she was like, okay, what does that mean? I'm like, who's our captain? And she was like, Jacob. And I'm like, imagine how cool it's going to be when this, young kid who's battling leukemia, who literally within, like we talked about that St. Jude night, his best friend died. And she had a better life expectancy than he did.
Wow.
And here he's asking these questions, Mom, can I die? She's got pneumonia and died.
Yeah.
She'll be our featured, Sydney Cunningham is her name, and she'll be our featured deal for St. Jude this coming year. But Jacob was rattled, and so I was just like, and I broke down. I was at the event. I cried the second it happened because I was like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
If nothing else was done, the $240,000 to charities and all this stuff, this one kid who is fighting for his life got that one moment that no matter what happens in his life, he got his dream.
Yeah.
He may play hockey. He still plays hockey. He may never get to that level, but he got to a professional championship level and got to
exactly.
I saw the parade Tuesday, and he was right there in the middle, and you could tell those guys love him.
Oh, absolutely.
And
we got one of your fans on the phone here.
One of your. I talked to this man right after the game. He texted me, or no, he called me. Wolverine Dan, you're on with Clay, buddy.
Hey, Clay, see, he's my buddy. No doubt about it. Clay and I go back a long way, and we went to the viewing party. He was there. He did a great job emceeing it, and we had a nice little chat. Said a lot of nice things about Ginger and I. Of course, that's my better half. And, Clay, I say, listen, Clay, it is so cool to share something, a win like this, a championship with you, because it's the fans they're season ticket holders ever since it started, and I'm one of them. And and all fans are great. Don't get me wrong, but when you got fans that've been there from the beginning of the whole thing, and you share a moment like that with Clay and I mean, it was real special, man. There was a lot of love that night, winning the championship, and it was just awesome. And, I don't know if Clay told you, but they cut the feed off on us because they didn't want us to celebrate anymore. And I go, okay, all right, I got you. But guess what? We made that up last week, and it was a beautiful weather, Clay. It was awesome, man, and Keith did a great job. And I'll tell you what, I couldn't be happier. I didn't get a chance to congratulate Keith, because for some reason he ducked out somewhere. I couldn't find him, but I will congratulate him again when I see him in the near future. But Clay, I know you agree with me. It was a special day of this celebration, but it feels real good to be champions. And this owner has really stuck through thick and thin with this franchise. And I'll tell you one more thing: there's other, as well as I do, we've talked about it, that other franchise in the SPHL come to us to figure out how we're doing it, packing that place just about every night, and that's what owner wants, because that's ticket sales, and that puts money in their pocket.
Yeah, they come in, and one thing I tell them, they don't like this, but they'll come in and ask, what do you do? And I'll say, you can't. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because you're not Huntsville, Alabama. and it is the truth. The community that has really made this team, and Dan, people like you and the ones that have come in and supported and bought jerseys and donated and that's the one thing I liked about the parade the other night. When they told us that we were doing a parade, I was kind of like, a parade? Like, are we going to invite some of the high schools? If it's just us on a back of a fire truck driving around Big Spring Park,
ticker tape, man.
I don't know. And I was like, do we need to practice our little beauty pageant waves and all that kind of stuff? But Dan, you were there, and the one thing that got me is the fact that the fans just joined in, and you couldn't tell who the players were, who the fans were. Everybody was having a good time. It just was really cool to me, and that kind of said something to me, is like that it can be cliche-ish and do this kind of stuff, but without the support of all of the fans and the people in the community and and Keith and Becky have spent, there's some strategic stuff behind it, and there's some stuff that has been done as far as developing relationships with Huntsville Hospital and the NICU and then St. Jude. So there's a lot of factors at play, but I mean, it's just definitely a situation that it is the city's championship, and some of these players that won, we may have 4 or 5 of them that come back next year to play with us.
Yeah.
So, but really, it's a city that deserves it, and like I said, it's a chance we can brag on us in a situation. That's kind of the thing they always threw at us. The other teams like the Knoxvilles, the Peorias, I all wish them well, because the league is as strong as the teams that are in it. But, they would always say, oh, yeah, well, you got the best attendance, but we've got 4 cups. Or, I kind of felt like an Auburn fan for a little while. Where it's like,
well, Clay, Wolverine Dan mentioned it. He talked about the fans, but when you go back and if you took the time just to piece everything together that led to the championship, there's no way, that you can look at players who were taken and then put back in, and you look at the finer details of everything that's happened, and it's just everything working together to make it ultimately a championship season.
And people didn't see, the behind the scenes, and we had players that I say they're not old, but like a Stuart Steffen who's played 7 years. You got a Cy Nutkovich. You got Nolan Kaiser was playing with a separated shoulder. Our guys were beat up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if you went into the locker room after a game, you were like, gosh, I feel like the battlefield of like Game of Thrones or something. It was just like, what in the world is going on? But yeah, it's exciting. And we were sitting back, and I talked to Keith the other day, and I remember those times when I started back in the early, 2006, 2007. A Friday night, we would have maybe 1,500 people in the building, which was great. It still worked.
Yeah.
But the fact that we were able to, hey, it's game 3, or, we're going to have game 2 at our place. We knew on that, I guess, Saturday night that we'd have a Friday. So we had less than a week to plan. Yes, we did the $5 ticket, but to have a sellout on a Friday night, there's country artists that come to the VBC that don't sell out.
Right.
So it was amazing. So like I said, our fans were that
There's
night.
never enough room. That's the thing, because there were people going down there on the day of the game expecting to be able to get tickets, and that's not the way it works.
No, and that's the problem we're having. I used to be the situation from the marketing side. Like if Tim or you or whoever would call me and say, hey, Clay, can I get some tickets to Friday's game? It used to be I could be like, yeah, man, and I'd put you in the best seat I could give you, to give you that experience.
Right.
Now I go, hey, I've got GA tickets, or then like that on that Friday night.
And those are good tickets. Those are still good.
But on that Friday,
Friday
night, I didn't even have tickets to give to my friend. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, well, we want to see him win the cup, and I'm like, I do too, but but I'm standing.
You just barely made it in yourself, right?
Right.
But
Hey, fellas.
Yeah.
Hey, fellas. Listen, I'm going to hang up, but before I do that, I want to say one more thing. With the celebration of the Havoc and Whistle Stop this weekend, I got to check into a kidney dialysis place, man, because my kidneys, I'm so full of popping the foam on top. This is killing me.
Cranberry juice and prune juice. You can do that.
That'll do it. All right, fellas. Hey,
All
go
right.
Havoc.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you,
Play. I love
brother.
you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Hey, and talking about your coach, Glenn, I heard him on the radio the other day, and then I heard him, I think, speak the other day. He said a lot of times when you only win 11 games one year, most places put you out the door. It'd be gone.
100%.
They said Keith Jeffries, and he said, I've played here. He said, I've been here, and I think in the interview they asked him, and he said, I don't, said if another higher league called you, I'd listen, but said my kids were born here. I love this place. So, and I know y'all are hoping he comes back, to coach another year too.
No, with Glenn, and Glenn and I started before him, but I was there when Glenn was a player. And, you see these guys, and you see the behind the scenes. You have a player that's married. We know the salary cap is $5,600 for 19 guys.
Wow.
So do the math. That's each week. So you do the math. There's
That's
some
not
of
a lot
them,
of money.
No. The average probably salary is $370 a week. All right. We provide apartments. There's some things. So if you don't have any, bills per se, then you would be okay. But you imagine him coming with 3 kids.
Yeah.
And making probably the top, maybe, I have no idea what his salary. Let's say if he's making $400 a week. His wife wasn't working because she's hopping around with him. So that's crazy. I look at him saying, y'all are nuts for doing what you do. But then he comes in as the coach. He gets in there. He's young. Keith knows that. But Glenn and Keith, and what I love about the Havoc is that character's first. It's even with the players. Everything we have, we got some that party and do, they'll rowdy it up with the best of us. But at the end of the day, they're the first ones that are there to do a hospital visit. They're the first ones there to go to somebody's house that their kid just died of cancer without even question. So Glenn, that situation, he gets in, he gets his kid, and then Keith looks at it. Hey, man, you're doing everything I say. The crowds are there. The team is making money. Yes, I want to win a championship. But that year when we won 11 games, the
crowds were still.
It was crazy because we got done with that and we did some commercials. I don't know if you remember seeing some of. We did we played off the whole sprinkles. Remember the sprinkles are for winners thing or whatever that was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Y'all do some great commercials, I tell you,
So we
brother.
did that one to where it was like the guys are sitting there and we're like pointing out all the good things that happened, but we'd only won 11 games. But our season tickets were up 25% the next year. Advertising and marketing was up probably 30 or 40%. And so we realized that we told them, hey, it's not necessarily about the hockey as much as just that it's affordable, it's the entertainment, but fix the hockey. So it gave Glenn that chance to kind of settle in. And like Keith would probably look at it. He looked at it. Yes, I could fire that guy, but I'm looking at if I fire him, his wife and his 3 kids are displaced.
Exactly.
And they're doing good. They're in the Madison City schools. Like I said,
where are they going to go? Peoria?
Right. Or whatever. But here's the other thing. People don't realize the ECHL, which is the step above us, they have, I think, like 28 to 30 teams. There's only 4 of those teams that made money last year. So, wow. I mean, so you think about it. You could leave Huntsville and go to a higher market, and that's what a lot of our players like. When you talk to Tyler, ask Tyler what his experience was like when he got called up. Very, very excited, and I'll let him tell the story. But it was a total different animal when he got there, and he was like, I want to go back.
the crowds, the atmosphere, and
the way he was treated,
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
Now, how much traveling do you do when they go out on their road games?
I could go to any of them, but our stuff is, and when you talk to our staff, we kind of laugh at sometimes because the players will get mad at us and coaches will get mad at us because we'll say, you play on the road? Because we're so focused on getting the 28 home games that we have to do it. And like I said, in converting those fans, it's –
But I'm going to tell you, when me and Tim went that very first time and we were going to be live, and I saw all the boxes and I didn't know what the box was. The box is season tickets.
Yeah.
And I was looking around and I saw all these people with these boxes. I was like, I was blown away that this many people were season ticket holders.
Well, what I was going to ask is, do you know what the atmosphere at some of these road venues are compared to Huntsville? Because it is great.
There are
BBC.
about 3 or 4, like Knoxville is. It's a different venue. It's very intimidating, and the fans are very supportive in Knoxville. Pensacola has a great atmosphere. And if people are listening, they want to just take a road trip, go down to the beach, go to a Pensacola game, find out when the Havoc's there. It's electric. But there's other ones that it's tough, and it's minor league sports that it's so hard for some of these owners to do because some of them are big people and they use it as a tax write-off. So whether they make money or not, but Keith doesn't do that. Yeah. I mean, Keith is – a micromanager. He's right on top of you. He's not going to let anything. But
somebody's kid always wanted a hockey team.
Well, like for instance, in the Peoria situation, prime example. Peoria is a awesome hockey market. They've been at every single level: AHL, ECHL, CHL, IHL. They've had that. They have a venue that's 9,000. It holds 9,000 people. But they get to play us. They had to pick to play us there first because they had to have their venue free by the weekend.
Yeah.
And you have to give through the new laws because we had a bus crash with the Columbus team several years ago. They don't let the drivers – you can't just leave that night and go and push through. So that set it to where they had to have a Wednesday night home game. They had maybe 1,500 people at. And you imagine 1,500 people in a 9,000-seat venue. You can be as loud as you want to, and it seems like a ghost town.
Yeah.
Then they come to us. Then you go back to them on a Sunday, which is a harder thing. They probably had about 2,500 people on a Sunday. So we had almost like home ice advantage in a sense because it had no effect on them. But and we wish it to be better, and we do. Like I was joking about going to some of these other teams, but we want them to be successful. But like I said, if we do a wiener dog race and it's our number one thing, a wiener dog race may not be as popular in Macon, Georgia. So that's when we say, hey, you got to – pick what's good to your community. And like I said, Huntsville is different like Nashville. We have people from the Preds that will come down and go, man, we got it going on, but how do y'all raise $60,000 in a jersey auction? I mean, Tyler Piacentini had a hockey stick that went for over $400. You go online and get a Pekka Rinne autograph stick, and it's less than that.
Wow.
And that's
the Predator. Yeah, the man for the Preds.
Go look and see what take an Alabama football. Go online right now and go see what Derrick Henry autograph football is.
Yeah.
Is it more than a $450 Tyler Piacentini autographed hockey stick?
Probably,
I don't know.
Probably not.
But it's weird. But like I said, that's the dynamic of people like Wolverine Dan and some of those individuals. I love him to death, but those guys are fanatical individuals that are passionate, and when they're dialed in, and that's your marketing.
Yeah,
that's your advertising.
He same guy was there with 11 wins as he was there. So, like I said, these are the kind of people that stick with you through thick and thin. They just don't jump on the bandwagon.
Wolverine Dan, one time we did a, dress like your favorite Havoc thing, and Wolverine Dan made a paper mache mascot costume and dressed up in it. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, Dan, but I'm like, God, I love your passion. I love, what you do, and sometimes there may be some that people get a little too passionate, and he doesn't, but some people may get on your nerves. But they think at the end of the day, you're like, but they eat, sleep, drink Huntsville Havoc hockey, and I love that.
Exactly. Well, Clay, man, we could sit here and talk 2 hours with you on it, but we got some other folks. But
I'll bring the cup back. Yeah. The players will all be gone, so I'll come back up at another time and bring the cup and let y'all.
And good luck with all your new ventures.
Oh,
and it's a package deal for you too, where you have to you're going to be plugging away on all these different things, dealing with the Havoc and dealing with the homes and all that too. So excited for you. Hope it goes well.
But you're still going to be with us starting hockey season.
No,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'll come in anytime. I love, I said, me, I'm a radio guy from way back, so I love connecting with people. So.
Well, Clay, we've enjoyed having you on during the season, and like I said, we feel like we're part of the team, being, listen to you every week, and now the championship. So,
this may be the good luck piece. I came on to your show from start to finish, and we won a championship. So, I have to be on
start to finish. You got to be on when we get ready. When Tim will hook you up, and we'll be ready to go, bud. But we appreciate you being with us, and look forward to talking to you on down the road, bud.
Appreciate it.
All right, that's Coleman, Vice President of Huntsville Havoc. We're going to take us a break. You're listening to Applebee's Tailgate Talk on the Big 1080 WKC.